What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to my live stream here at Reality After Show, at After Show on YouTube, twitch.tv/Bobby Goodsby. Big Brother What Ifs. That's the topic for today. Game-changing moments that almost didn't happen or almost did happen. Um, Maybe it's a twist. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's gameplay. What are the biggest what-if moments in Big Brother television history? There's a lot you can pull from. I think this is an interesting topic that we can talk about today here on stream. Get your comments read live here in the chat. I will go over all of your guys' comments here. Let me know, what do you guys think are the biggest what if moments in Big Brother history? The rest of the week, I think we're going to also talk about Survivor what ifs later in the week. We're also going to do another edition, because you guys liked it so much, of unpopular opinions. Every unpopular opinion you could possibly have, let me know. We will get that on tomorrow's episode, or Thursday's episode, excuse me. Tomorrow's going to be Survivor what ifs. So today's going to be all about Big Brother what ifs in reality television history. There are a lot, and I pulled up some themes. I pulled up some Reddit posts on what people have said are the biggest what if moments for Big Brother. Let's get to you guys in the chat. Big Brother's greatest moments is when they voted out Riley on Big Brother 27. What if Morgan went home? Riley, Catherine, Keanu, Kelly, Lauren, and Vince probably mopped the floor with the remaining house guests. Tatsuya, thank you so much for joining in. It is an interesting topic. I absolutely agree. I think that as far as like Big Brother 27 goes, if Morgan goes home, excuse me, if Morgan goes home that early, I think we definitely do have a completely different show. I mean, you could also talk about, what if Rachel wasn't taken out by the stupid twist, right? The stupid elimination challenge. Do we have a completely different season the remainder of the season? I think, as far as that goes, when it comes to the Rachel twist of it all, and the hamster wheel of death, I think we've all come to talk about it as, that if Rachel doesn't go out there, I do think it's a similar end game, but I'm very curious to see how far Rachel goes, right? Like, I'm curious as to where her placement ends up being, because we got a lot of those storylines that we never got to see the ending of. We don't know what happened with her and Keanu's relationship, the Frenemies alliance, even though Rachel has said she obviously wasn't a big fan of that alliance, but I would have loved to see it continue to play out. Would we be talking about Morgan and Vince all the way through? Would Will have gone home the very next week when he did? Would Ashley have won the game? I don't know. Would there have been too big of a target on her back that she eventually would have got clipped? Most likely. But when would it have happened? What would have happened? I think there's a lot of good commentary on the Big Brother what ifs when it comes to what we've seen over the years. And it could be a twist. It could be a player. It could be someone that was voted out early, whatever it may be. Mary, what's going on? Good to see you. All right. So then we got Juan. What's up, Juan? Hi, Bobby. Have you told Wentz to throw a TD to Justin Jefferson? Needed him on fantasy, but what if Marcellus used the veto? That is one of the big ones, I think, right? And yes, the Vikings killed me too. I know. Don't even get me started on that game. 1 for 6 in the red zone, really? But I digress. This isn't a football podcast for now. But yeah, I think the Marcellus one is the big one, right? That's the big what if. If Marcellus would have used the veto on himself, I honestly think we could have seen Marcellus possibly even win this game. I really do. Like, who was really going to be coming for him in that moment? And he had the opportunity to save himself. It's still mind-boggling to me that happened, right? Because the fact that Marcellus didn't play it on himself when he had every opportunity to do so is wild. It's wild. I just think that, do we also look at Marcellus the same, right? Because like we look at Marcellus as one of those people of you screwed yourself. One of the biggest you screwed yourself moments in reality television history. But then if he is safe there and doesn't go home, we have a completely different winner. I completely agree with that. What are your guys' takes on the Marcellus of it all? Because Marcellus not playing the veto. I mean, we don't get that iconic moment of Julie hitting him in the head with the paper. We don't get a lot of things if that doesn't happen. All right, so let's get to more of your guys' comments. Fresh show, what's going on, my friend? I loved when coup de Jeff was used. What if the coup d'etat never happened in Big Brother 11? Russell wins Big Brother 11. It's a hot take. It's a hot take. Honestly, if the coup d'etat or coup de Jeff, as we've come to say it, doesn't happen, I honestly think that Jeff goes out in the same spot, right? Like, I still think Jeff goes home relatively soon after that, no matter what happens. It's so frustrating because those twists that just completely changed the game around, and like Jesse could have gone a lot further had that not happened. It's kind of mind-boggling that how many twists we've had in Big Brother history where that one little thing always changes. This right here, though, is my number one, right? And I said that the Marcellus one was a big one, but I think Dan's funeral is the biggest one, right? Like, this is the most massive thing. And you can even go back to his time on Big Brother 10, where it's him and Brian Hart as the two getting targeted early because the way that they're playing the game and they're playing too fast, too quickly. What if it's Dan who goes home there instead of Brian Hart? We don't have Dan on Big Brother 14. So you can even go back further beyond Dan's funeral. I will get to Dan's funeral next. But if we go back even further to him on Big Brother 10, if Dan goes home week 1 against Brian Hart and the rest of the house votes him out, we don't have Dan on 14. We don't have Dan on Traitors. We don't have one of the greatest players of all time, Dan Giesling. And it could have easily happened. Obviously, Brian Hart was the bigger target in the moment. I do think the house made the right decision getting rid of Brian. And also, justice for Brian. I've said this for a long time. I want Brian Hart back on my reality TV screen. We almost had him on what was it? 11? I think it was 11, yeah. We almost had him on 11. And imagine if we would have. Or what was it? No, it wasn't 11. What season was that? 12? No. I'm blanking. I'm blanking on which season that was. Was it 11? I think so. But at the end of the day, if Dan doesn't go or does go home there, first off, Big Brother 10 is a completely different season. Do we get all the drama that we got in the past? Or that we eventually got that season? I don't think so. I mean, we might have, because there were still characters in there that were wild and kooky. But my God, what the Dan and Ollie of it all, where he promised Ollie to use the veto on him or to save him, and then goes and stabs him in the back. Like, we wouldn't get those fun moments. Then if you go fast forward to Dan's funeral, and Dan's funeral, obviously this is massive, right? If Danielle does not believe what Dan is putting out there, and Dan got lucky that he literally had the most loyal player of all time, in my opinion, in his corner. Because what he did should not have worked. It shouldn't have worked. Like, him coming back from being in that isolation and having the wherewithal to come up with this elaborate plan to convince the house that he needs to be saved. It was insane. It was insane. And if Danielle is not in his corner after he explains to her what he's doing later on, and can kind of put on this masquerade of that they're actually not working together to the rest of the house, after he just basically humiliated her in front of the house, Dan's gone, and we don't look at that Dan's funeral moment as one of the greatest moments in Big Brother history. We just look at it as a flop, right? Like it would be almost like how Dan played on the Traitors, where Dan on the Traitors was not very good, right? Like he went in with a lot of heat, a lot of potential. Everyone was excited to see him play as a traitor, see what he can do. First time we're getting Dan back on our television screens in a very long time. And he flopped. But he flopped because of his own, his own ways of playing the game. Because it wasn't Big Brother, it was the Traitors. And it wasn't going to work there. Having said that, though, like Dan on the Traitors could have easily been Dan's funeral. It could have been that same situation just much earlier. And do we get the lore of Dan as one of the greatest players of all time if that Dan's funeral does not work? I don't think so. But I want to get your guys' opinions. Get your comments read live. I will get to everyone's comments right now. Sheila, thank you so much for the Dan's funeral comment. Jason, what's going on, my friend? All right. What if Erica puts up Will instead of Danielle at Final 6 of Big Brother 7? I think Erica backdooring Danielle, her closest ally for Chilltown, made her a lock for second place. I agree. And I think there's a lot from Big Brother 7 you can pull into. I think that if Erica puts up Will instead of Danielle, I think that was the one moment that instantly tanked her game, right? Like, I think Erica doing that, like if she puts up Will instead of Danielle, she's known as taking out one of the biggest players, one of the best winners of all time. But backdooring Danielle, her closest ally, it just that literally lost you the game. That lost you the game. And there's really no coming back from that. Essentially what you're doing is this person is 100% with you, and it was almost like Chilltown just got in her head, right? And it made her a final 2 GOAT no matter what, because you just betrayed your number one ally for the clear cut. These are the 2 you should be going after in Chilltown. It was wild. I agree with you. I think that second place absolutely got locked up after she made that disastrous move. Marcella's not using the veto doesn't matter because Danny still won the final 4 HOH, and she would have put up Marcellus and whoever survives final 5 of Lisa or Amy. Jason still probably evicts Marcellus at final 4. I don't know, though. I don't know. I think Marcellus could have done enough. Also, what if Marcellus would have won the veto again? There's a lot of what ifs. What if Marcellus would have won final 4 HOH? We just will never know. But at the end of the day, I think we do have a different winner if that happens, if he uses that veto. At the end of the day, too, it completely rewrites his history. But do we even remember him? We remember Marcellus right now because he didn't play the veto. There's a handful of people from that season you probably don't remember their names or don't remember their gameplay. But the one thing you definitely can remember is Marcellus not using the veto. 1,000%. So it's almost like a catch-22 for someone like Marcellus, right? Where if he plays the veto, who knows where he ends up placing, right? He could have won, he could have not. We don't know. But if he plays that and goes out, let's say next round, like you're saying, do we even remember Marcellus highly? Do we, or just at all, I would say? It's not like we remember him highly, but do we even remember anything about him like we do so fondly because he didn't play the veto? Maybe it was the best thing for him that he didn't play the veto because he is so memorable because of that. I don't know. Christine, what's going on? Hi, Bobby. What if Jag was sent home in Big Brother 25 and there was no zombie week? Oh, don't tease me with a good time. If Jag goes home, like that's why there will always be an asterisk on Jag's win, right? And I feel for Jag because like he did what he had to do to win the game, and he continued to just dominate challenges because the competition in those challenges wasn't, near what he was able to put out there. But there's an asterisk because he did technically get voted out. And if Jag was sent home and in Big Brother season 25, and there is no way for him to come back, no zombie week, no nothing, and there was no zombie week later on in the season where we saw Cameron and Sari Field's son, I'm blanking on his name, where we see that end up happening. Like, it's a completely different season. Do we see Sari continue to dominate? I don't know. It's funny to me because the Jag win feels like such a weird win. It just feels, excuse me, it feels strange, right? Because it's not really something we have seen before, where someone gets voted out, then is allowed to come back into the house. Like, it doesn't even leave and ends up winning the game. Do we look at that season more fondly if that doesn't happen? It's an interesting conversation to have for sure. What if Kaser doesn't let go of the button to let Jin win the pressure cooker in Big Brother 6? That is also a massive moment, right? Like, that right there showed everyone in the world nice guys finish last, right? Like don't be a nice player on Big Brother. Be selfish. Play for yourself. Because if Kaser doesn't do that, my God, where do we go with the season? Does James get taken out that same vote that Kaser went home because he didn't hold on to the button? I mean, you just got voted out and you're immediately back in. You have the chance. Like, what are you doing? Like, obviously, Kaser has benefited from that move by letting Jin win the pressure cooker because everyone looks at Kaser so fondly. Like, no one has a bad thing to say about Kaser. But we could look at Kaser as like the ultimate comeback story. I mean, at the same time, it would still have an asterisk because he was voted out. So, like, let's be real. If we're going to say that about Jag, we'd have to say that about Kaser too. But it didn't happen. And it showed that nice guys do finish last and that you should always, always, always play for yourself. Does a friendship alliance like that? The targeting of the friendship alliance would have been massive too. I don't know. It's a weird. That one is just so like, it's up there with the Marcellus one. It's like, if that changes, it almost changes the whole dynamics of the rest of the season. Jason says, what if Sovereign 6 evicted Maggie over Eric at the final 12 of Big Brother 6? Eric wouldn't have the finesse to get Howie to target James and Sarah, and he would have been targeted during Howie's HOH. I mean, obviously, that was super beneficial to Maggie when Eric ended up going there, because the fact that is then that duo is broken up and you don't think of Maggie as much of a threat, and it allowed her to have more of a say in the house, not like completely, but she did have more power because now that target is off her back. And then you said Eric wouldn't have had the finesse to get Howie to target James and Sarah, and he would have been targeted during Howie's HOH. I mean, he eventually would have gone home, right? He wouldn't have gone to the end like Maggie did. He wouldn't have been the eventual winner like Maggie would have. So it would have opened up the gameplay completely. Project DNA, Nokomis and Cowboy learned they have biological parents in common without each other knowing it. What if they were never told and somehow the internet found out after the show? That's crazy. That's one I never even thought of. I mean, it would have been cool if the show didn't tell them. I mean, I get it. The show did it because they want the TV show moment, right? They want the moment of, hey, this is your brother. This is your sister. Like, what are you going to do with it now? Are you going to work with this person? The problem is, I feel like they did it too late. Like, we could have seen some real potential there had they told them like right off the bat, but that would have been weird to do like night one. But yeah, no, it that one's just kind of funny though, because it's like if they just would have never told them anything about them being biological siblings, and they had to find out after the fact, that would have blown their minds. What if Jace and Marcellus don't fight during the final 12 of Big Brother 7? From feeds archives, apparently there was a flip going on during that week to boot Will, but then Marcellus bowed out because of the fight. I mean, that one, honestly, that one I'd have to go back and actually look at, because as far as like the feed archives and stuff, that's interesting to me that there was going to be a flip to vote out Will. But I mean, shoot, that just shows that you really got to establish those connections, and you got to keep those connections strong, especially early on. Like, are you really like, what's the point of getting to a fight that early on? Because, and Jace was always a wild card, and Marcellus, obviously, like, also another reason for the whole Marcellus not using veto. Do we get Marcellus on All Stars, or All Stars season 1? Do we get him back because he did, if he ends up using the veto? I don't know. But that's a case for another day too. But as far as the Jace of it all, like, that's why you don't break up those relationships with people, especially so early on, because then the numbers can completely turn on you. It's an interesting point though, for sure, Jason. If Jeff wins double eviction veto in Big Brother 13, does he win the game? Who, I don't know. I mean, he would have had a very strong chance of winning the game. I still come down on the fact that I don't know if Jeff was as beloved in the house as much as he thinks, right? Like, yes, we know there was people that did love Jeff and Jordan, and there were fans in this cast that loved Jeff and Jordan. And maybe there is a strong case to make that if he does win that, I just feel like he's going to be targeted the next week anyways. I still feel like he's going to go home at some point, because one, he's too big of a threat to win challenges down the stretch. But two, like, if he does get there, depending on who he's up against, I think it's a real question mark. Does he win or not? Because I think that we, the fans at the time, looked at him highly. I know there were people that liked him, but I don't know if he's as liked as we think. No worries, Mary. Let's see here. Does Jag is always so sanctimonious? I mean, the thing is with Jag, like, Jag is it's just a hard win to get on the back of, right? And it was just such a boring end game that I think it really has tainted viewers' opinions on Jag, and extremely, like, just everyone's extremely, like, pissed off on how that season ended, that it doesn't matter what Jag does, he's always gonna have people against him. The way he's getting upset with Izzy for not wanting to help him. Yeah, like, and he was very much so as like a whiny type of player, right? Like a whiny in the fact of like almost like to a Nicole Franzel level of, why are you not working with me? Why am I not benefiting from anything that happens in this game type of situation? What if McCrae doesn't believe Andy during the double eviction about him voting to keep Amanda and tries to target him instead of Alyssa? I still think Andy survives the vote against Spencer, Judd, or Gina Marie. I agree. Like, I think that Andy was in such a good spot, and he was able to talk his way out of everything, that obviously, like, if we talk about like the whole McCrae, Andy convincing McCrae that he voted to keep Amanda, obviously great move, great social strategy. I completely agree with you that he was so non-threatening in the eyes of all these other people that he would have absolutely stayed over Spencer, Judd, or GM. But the fact that he was then able to use that leverage and that knowledge to target Alyssa while McCrae is in power and get Alyssa out of the house, who he thought was a massive threat to his game, just shows why Andy is one of the best players of all time. I still think Andy wins the season. And the fact that McCrae believed him was still wild to me. I was like, McCrae, what are you doing? There were so many McCrae moments that season that I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you have such an opportunity here. You could legitimately have a chance at getting far in this game. And he just was so brainwashed. It was crazy. Also, another moment that I don't know if you guys have brought up in the chat here, but I'll talk about it now. What if Helen wasn't pushed? I know some of you do not believe that she was pushed. I'm still, because it's just so funny. I'm still a Helen was pushed truther. What if Helen wasn't pushed? It's an interesting conversation, guys. Big Brother 3, Danielle Reyes was robbed. What if they had a sequestered jury in Big Brother 3? That's why they showed that they should do that. And I hated the fact that they were able to basically see what was going on and see the writing on the wall and not give Danielle Reyes the full opportunity. Like, Danielle was ultimately screwed by this, right? And I'm glad they never went back to that format. I'm glad they never gave the jurors the ability to see and have that kind of foresight when this is a game of social strategy. And why should that be pushed to the back burner because of a stupid idea by production, I guess you would say? I'm glad that they completely changed and went away from that. I think the fans showed at the time that they did not like that. But yeah, if Danielle Reyes does not have that happen to her, I think she wins hands down. I really do. I think that was the biggest thing that robbed her of her game. What if Christmas goes home after her leg fracture? She should have. She should have gone home. And I feel for her because we always say, oh man, we hate to see an injury, knock someone out of the game. What if they would have stayed in the game? This is the one time we got the what if and it actually happened. But the fact that that season was so rough. It was so rough when a person with a leg fracture wins a race competition because the house is so brainwashed by Paul that they all feel safe with him and they let Christmas win that challenge. That what was it, HOH or veto? I can't remember which, but just mind-boggling. And then Christmas was like the ultimate Paul truther, right? Like she was so in Paul's corner that it was obviously very, very beneficial for Paul until they all get to the end and realize, oh wait, Paul's been doing this to all of us. That's another one we can get into is what if Paul wins Big Brother 19 or Big Brother 18? Because if Paul wins Big Brother 18, I obviously don't think we see him on 19. But also, if Paul wins Big Brother 18, I think we don't look at Nicole in such a high regard as we do because of the fact that she then doesn't have that win under her belt. We obviously think of her as like a decent player, decent social strategist. Does that mean she gets even further and if she comes back for All Stars 2? I don't know. Does she even come back for All Stars 2 if she doesn't win? I don't know. Now on Big Brother 19, if Paul wins Big Brother 19, which honestly he should have, right? Let's be real. Who played the best game on Big Brother 19? It was Paul. It was hands down Paul, but it was also the cast that was with him that made him the biggest player from that season. Because I think if he is in a house with, let's say, I don't know, Big Brother 10 players, Big Brother 12 players, I don't know if it's the same, but given the cast, given everything he did, do we then see more cutthroat gameplay going forward? Because a Paul win shows that you can be cutthroat, you can lie and manipulate people. I mean, in all reality, what's the difference between what Paul did in Big Brother 19 to what Boston Rob did when he won his season? They're very similar. In my head, they're very similar outcomes, right? Where you have someone who is so dominant when it comes to the social strategy of manipulating people to do what you want. Boston Rob had people literally doing the buddy system, which completely benefited his game, where they were so brainwashed they were doing the buddy system, and Paul was doing the friendship system, right? He preached friendship. It's very similar. But one outcome ended up winning because people realized, and maybe they weren't as bitter, but they realized, hey, listen, we got to hand it to you. You deserve it. Do we really think Josh Martinez played a better game than Big Brother 19's Paul? I don't think so. I think he was just the lucky one sitting next to Paul in the final two. Could have been Christmas. Hell, if Christmas was sitting there instead of Josh, I think Christmas wins. But it should have been Paul. Absolutely. What if the Tops Alliance vote out Will over Shannon and BB2? He was the target, but Shannon wanted him to stay, and she started picking fights and used Hardy's toothbrush in the toilet, then the vote flipped. Yeah, I mean, it's just that comes down to the social side of it all, right? Like, he was the target, and honestly, like, he probably does go home there. And Shannon just couldn't get in the way of herself, right? Like, the fact that she picked so many fights, the Hardy's toothbrush, which is still one of the grossest thing that's ever happened on Big Brother, in my opinion. I think you should be expelled for that. I really do. I think you should be expelled for that kind of behavior because that is just so gross. And I get it was the early days of reality TV, so they wanted all the drama. They wanted those kind of moments. Hell, even Big Brother nowadays might be here for the Hardy's toothbrush toilet situation. But I really do think that if you're literally scrubbing the toilet with someone's toothbrush, what makes that worse than throwing your freaking radio or your mic pack into the water, into the pool? I mean, it's terrible. So, yeah, I think Shannon completely deserved to go there. And Will just did enough to not piss people off like Shannon did. What if the 20s receive a penalty for stealing the money from the Rockers? That's really having to jog my memory there on that one. I mean, obviously, the 20s, like, what if the 20s obviously weren't revealed either? I don't know. That one I'd have to like sit down and think back because that one I'd have to jog my memory on. What if Willie Hance didn't punch Chef Joe on Big Brother 13? He didn't even punch him though, right? Like he headbutted towards him. Like, yes, he should be expelled for that. Also, what makes that not worse than the freaking toothbrush? I'm just saying. But yeah, obviously you shouldn't cause physical harm or threaten anyone. So Willie Hance absolutely should have gone home there, especially when he got in someone's face. But at the end of the day, guys, it didn't matter. It was speeding up the inevitable where Willie Hance was going to go home anyways. Like Willie Hance saw the writing on the wall, knew that he was the biggest target in the house, that he was going to be out that door sooner rather than later. And he obviously just had a very big temper and poor sport attitude, where if he doesn't punch Chef Joe, or headbutt him towards him, I still think he goes home no matter what. I still think we have the same season that we would have had. But that was, and just see Ian just there, like in a towel, trying to get in between them, like this kid's going to do anything. Such a great moment. Like, obviously, we don't want to see any physical harm on anyone, but such a great moment. The 20s getting eliminated halfway that season, and they never are on Survivor. Oh, okay. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about on Amazing Race. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't watch that season. I was like, wait, what 20s? I thought you were talking about season 5's twins. I was like, I don't remember the Rockers. So then that's why I never watched them on the Amazing Race. On Tar is a rule. You are not allowed to touch other competitors' stuff. While the Rockers dropped the money, the 20s took the money and technically move it from where the Rockers dropped it. Oh, interesting. See, like that's the thing is I didn't watch that season, so I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it seems like they should have got in trouble. Do we look at the 20s the same? Do we get them on Survivor? Oh. What if I dress like Vince Panera for Big Brother for Halloween? Do I get robbed or beat up in LA? Well, who's going to be your Morgan? Because you got to be just walking around with them constantly hugging each other. That needs to happen if that's the case. You know what's funny is there this little side topic. but they're doing a costume contest at my work where, like, if you're in for a group, you win $1,000 for best group outfit. So me and a couple of my buddies at work, we're trying to decide what we're gonna do to try to win that, because I've won costume contests in the past. There, do we dress up? And guys, give me your opinions. Do we dress up as the K-pop demon hunters? This thing would be so funny. So funny. Like 3 big dudes. It's the K-pop demon hunter chicks. He's so good. Or do we dress up as the older Hispanic guy I work with would be Napoleon Dynamite. I would be Pedro. And then my other buddy Carlos would be the llama. I think that'd be pretty funny too. You guys let me know what you think. I don't know. We're trying to figure out what's going to be the best to win the money. I still think K-pop Demon Hunters would be great. I don't think Jeff wins Big Brother 13 because I think Portia and Kalia would have targeted, even if he gets past these rounds somehow. Rachel's a better competitor to beat in those comps, and in-game comps wins. I agree. And that's where I come back to is I still think he would have had a lot of competition, especially with Rachel, when it comes to that in-game comps. But I also think that I still don't think he's long for the game. I still think people target him and realize how big of a threat he is. Like Portia and Kalia are never going to keep Jeff in the game over Rachel, right? Like over Jordan. Like he's going to always have too big of a target on his back. What if Evil Dick stayed week 1? Well, we have a completely different season. 1,000%. I mean, think about all the antics we missed out on by Evil Dick not being there. Like Evil Dick staying in the house, had he not had other things happen that forced him to leave the show. And this is probably why we haven't had Evil Dick on our screens since then, because of the outcome of what happened and he had to leave the house. But at the end of the day, if Evil Dick stays there, what's his relationship with Danielle? What's his relationship, or what's his opinion on the Danielle and Dominic of it all? Do they talk nowadays if that happens? Does he go on and win and be our first ever 2-time winner of Big Brother? Is he targeted? Does he stay with the other returnees from the cast to work together on the season? I mean, we'll just never know. And it sucks because I would have loved to see Evil Dick continue to play that game out. But he just was gone way too early. Or we really didn't even know where he stood technically. What? Oh, sorry, 1 second. What if... No, sorry, my phone was going off. Telemarketers trying to call. What if Dick doesn't have the medical emergency in Big Brother? Oh, so you guys asked the same question. Yeah, I mean, same response. What if Vanessa was on Big Brother 27 instead of Rachel? Ooh, that is an interesting one. I think that Rachel, even though she was a winner, had far less of a target on her back than what Vanessa would have had she come into the house for Big Brother 27. I think Vanessa, while a lot of these people in the cast probably wouldn't even know who she is, hell, even some of the fans that are new to the show probably wouldn't have known who the hell she is. Rachel Riley's at least been on our screens elsewhere. So we would have never really got that moment because Vanessa's only been on 1 season of Big Brother and that's it. But for those that did know, I mean, Vanessa, one of the best strategic players of all time. However, she probably would have been targeted early because of that, right? Like you know that she stays loyal to the people that are loyal to her, but she's also going to game the hell out of that game where she can turn on you down the stretch and you always know that target looms. Where Rachel, albeit probably a little more chaotic and a little more spontaneous, Vanessa would have been very interesting on this season. Hell, I wish we would have got Vanessa and Rachel. That would have been even more fun. What if Portia doesn't use Pandora's box? I still think it's the same outcome. I really do. I mean, the show obviously at that time really leaned into the Pandora's box. And I am curious to see if like someone else would have got Pandora's box there, what would have happened. But I still think we have the same sort of end game because there was people working together were pretty closely aligned. What if Eric Stein played a regular game on Big Brother 8? Then I swear to God, guys, I think Eric Stein wins the game. I think Eric Stein wins the game, goes down as one of the best Big Brother players of all time if he doesn't have the America's Player twist. And you can come at me if you disagree. That's fine. But absolutely, I think that Eric Stein will probably end up winning that game. And he had the numbers. He had the ways to get out Evil Dick and go after that side. And it just was all because of America's Player and the twist that absolutely screwed him. Also, the fact that that twist lasted as long as it did, it should have ended at a certain point, and it just didn't. What if Paloma doesn't self-evict? Taylor Hill, what's up, B-Nickel? Unanimously gets evicted, and we are all spread of hearing how she was some heroic top-tier winner that we should somehow feel sorry for. I mean, I still felt sorry for her. Like, the shit that happened to her in the house sucked. Like, people sucked in that house. But she 100%, I think, goes home in that situation. I think she goes home there. Paloma self-evicting won Taylor Hale of the game. Hot take, I know. But it really did. It realistically launched pad a lot of things that happened that week or moving forward in the house. And Paloma was on the side that was like targeting Taylor Hale too, from what my memory is. So like 100%, I think Taylor goes there, and we don't see her obviously as a top tier winner. But I do feel sorry for the way she was treated in the house. That at the end of the day, I still think that the way that house was just brutal. What if Cody takes Victoria? I think this has a ripple effect. I think this greatly changes Big Brother 22 and the whole idea of loyalty at the final three. 1000%. One, Cody is instantly up there in the conversation of greatest players of all time because, one, he took out Derek, who is the guy that we consider as one of the top three, maybe some people's top five, which is crazy to me. He should be top three greatest players of all time. And if Cody takes Derek out and realizes, hey, I have to do this to win the game, it 100%, the ripple effect is massive. I don't think Cody comes back for Big Brother 22. I really don't. Even if he does, even if he is the winner of Big Brother 16 and then comes back for Big Brother 22, does the house let him get that far? The loyalty thing in Big Brother 22 was wild because they knew Cody was loyal to the soil, right? Which I always hate that term, but I just used it. Do we get Derek back for Big Brother 22? Does he do as well as Cody did in Big Brother 22? Knowing, hey, Cody just won Big Brother 16. Now I got to prove myself again. The ripple effect is massive if Cody takes Victoria instead of Derek there in the final two. Obviously, I'm glad it played out the way it did. I think both guys are very deserving winners, two of the best winners of all time, two of the best players of all time. And they both have a win under their belt. But I feel like the Big Brother 16 win would have felt a little bit different for Cody. I really do. And then you wouldn't have had this monkey on his back for all these years leading up to him playing 22 and eventually getting the win, where he was able to take that monkey off his back. It's a very interesting ripple effect. It really is. Thank you, Jason. However, the 20 stealing the money was so based one of their best moments on Tar. Well, I mean, obviously it launchpad them to be able to go on to other shows. So 100%. Taylor would have still won the backstage comp. We know this since they used it for the HOH in which she outperformed all three other backstage players. Taylor still survives week one, although in a wonky way. Oh, see, I kind of forgot about that. You're right. The backstage thing. I totally forgot about that twist. Yeah, that was weird. So I still think that if Paloma doesn't self-evict, I do think Taylor goes out relatively early then. I totally forgot about the backstage comp. Yeah, it's an interesting point to bring up. Because I still think Paloma there, and Paloma was not on the side of Taylor from my memory. I think she goes out at some point in the early days then, if not week two. Also, in the same leg, the Chippendales break a bigger rule by helping each other on the roadblock and got no penalty. And another team got eliminated. So the 20s should have been safe regardless. If that's what you say. I didn't watch that season, so I don't know. What if you're the Big Brother 27 script writer? You pick the perfect ending to Big Brother 27. Who is your winner? You can't pick Rachel. Well, if I'm the script writer, I think Keanu wins that final, what is it? Final 5 HOH. Takes out, if he was strategically playing, takes out Morgan, which we knew that's who he wanted to take out. But that would say Morgan didn't win the veto. Then if he takes out Morgan there, I honestly think Keanu could go on a streak of wins. I really do. I think Keanu basically not giving his all in that final 5 HOH, where he basically let Vinny win. If Keanu ends up prevailing and winning that HOH and somehow is able to take out Morgan, which I know Morgan won the veto, so obviously she would have been safe, but let's say she didn't, and I'm the script writer. I think Keanu takes out Morgan. I think the jury looks at that as he just took out one of the biggest players in the game. I think it cripples Vince's chances of getting further in the game. I would have been very interested to see it. I still think, I don't know. It's tough because then what happens? Does Vinny go and start working with Keanu? Does Ashley get to Keanu and convince Keanu to take her to the end and she wins over Keanu? I still think if he would have taken out Morgan there, it would have done a lot to benefit his game. He still would have had to win out, so who knows? We'll just never know. What if Michael and Eric don't get into the fight on Big Brother 6? Do we still see the house divided? I still see the house getting divided no matter what, because we saw the ripple effects start to happen with those alliances already starting to like take shape in a way. Even though they weren't concrete, we were starting to see people working together or talking together. That I still think the fight was like obviously the break point. Excuse me, but I still think we see a divided house no matter what at some point in that season, because the ripple effects were there. That was just the caveat, or sorry, that's not the right word. That was just the big moment that caused that to happen. And caveat was definitely not the right word there. The biggest what if from the past season is, what if Lauren didn't use her veto to save Vinny? Huge game changer with lots of different game implications if it doesn't get used. You're right. But at the end of the day, Lauren was 100% convinced Vinny was working with her, right? Like that. And he was to an extent, but her using that veto to save Vinny goes home. I mean, he would have had the chance to save himself via the blockbuster, but I still absolutely believe we have a different season if that happens too. I think that's a great point that I didn't think of, because I was thinking about the Keanu Final 5. The Lauren saving Vinny was even more massive of a game-changing moment. But it was always going to happen. What if the Big Brother producers punished house guests by playing their diary room lies for everyone in the house to hear? I mean, that goes back to like Big Brother 3 of it all, right? I hate it. I hate it. I don't want it. It goes against the social strategy of the house. It goes against allowing these players to play a game that's cutthroat. Because then what? You'll just have a bunch of people in there playing it safe, trying not to say anything bad about other house guests, which you don't want, because then where's the drama? Absolutely. I agree. Morgan and Kelsey. What's up, Brandy Boo? Thank you so much for joining the chat. That's who should dress up as 100%. Dress up as Morgan and Kelsey. K-pop Demon Hunter, of course. Definitely K-pop. It will subvert people's expectations more. I think it'd be hilarious. I think it'd be so funny. Dress up like Wicked, Glinda, Alphaba, excuse me, and the Wizard. I mean, it would be a good one, especially with the show around the corner. If Dick survives week 1 of Big Brother 13, I can see a newbie winning this season. I think he would clash with Jeff and Brenchel, and he may side with Danny and Dominic. I think they would have picked each other off. It's true. It is true. I mean, I still come back to the fact that I think that like a returnee would have won that season no matter what, because you had people that were so obsessed with playing with these former reality TV stars in the same game. But like, I think 100% he sides with Danny and Dominic. I think he does everything he can, just like we saw in Big Brother 8, to try to repair that relationship. And I do think that then the numbers would have been a little bit more on Danny and Dominic's side. But it is interesting because I think 100% he goes against Jeff. Like, I think Jeff and Evil Dick at some point completely collide. Or Rachel. Like the Rachel Evil Dick butting head scenario we never got, and I would have been so here for it. It would have been so good. It would have been like Evil Dick and Jen all over again. It would have been so good. What if Victoria does hit Fairplay on the Fear Factor? Or doesn't hit? I knew what you meant, but yeah, that would have been hilarious. I mean, at the end of the day, it's so funny. It's so funny. That if you guys haven't seen that clip of Fairplay on Fear Factor and him completely egging on Victoria to the point where she wants to hit him, it was so good. Go check it out. It's on YouTube. I don't even think house guests would recognize Vanessa. That was a point I made too. I really think there would have been a lot of people been like, "Who is this?" You know, Rachel at least is like a big name. She's a huge star. She's been on multiple shows. Vanessa's only been on Big Brother 17. They would just think she was a regular house guest. She also may lay low in comparison to Rachel. Well, like Vinny would have known who she was, right? There would have been people who knew who she was. So she wouldn't have been able to lay low completely, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, like, I think that for those that did know her, and if they didn't out her as a former player and a former great player that she was in Big Brother 17, I do think that maybe she is able to coast a little bit and work with the players that do, right? Like similar to Izzy and Sari, where Izzy was able to recognize Jared, right? And knew that was Sari's son. It's almost to the same extent where if she was able to go in there and not a lot of people knew who she was and just thought she was a normal house guest, and the people that did recognize her were able to pull in Izzy and pull her aside and be like, "Hey, I recognize you. Let's work together." Would have been interesting. Players like Ava and Will, who were key numbers, wouldn't have meshed with a chaotic gamer like Vanessa. Rachel got them first due to personal bonding. Oh yeah. Like Vanessa was so chaotic and so emotional, and like just was able to coerce a lot of people into doing her things. By the way, I saw randomly there was like some wrestling thing that was on my screen the other day at work. Like it popped up after the baseball game, and I saw Austin on this wrestling thing. He wears this mask, so I would have never known it was him. It's just this big dude with a mask. I don't even know what his character is now, but I recognized the tattoos on his chest. I was like, oh, that's 100% Austin. Like, what the hell? Like, he's on this wrestling program that I don't watch wrestling, so don't at me. But I was just so funny that I was able to recognize him because of his tattoos. I was like, oh, that's definitely Austin. That was interesting. Big Brother 17 reference just randomly on my television screen at work. But yeah, like I said, I think she was very chaotic. I think Ava would have definitely not worked with that kind of game player. 1,000%. What if Rob C was on Big Brother 3, which we all know originally he applied to be on Big Brother 3, got very close to being cast on Big Brother 3, and then was not cast and was asked to do Survivor, the Amazon. I mean, if Rob is on Big Brother 3, it's so interesting. It's such an interesting world. We probably would have had Rob back on Big Brother at some point because of the podcast. Like, I feel like Survivor hasn't leaned into the fact that Rob has a podcast is so massive and has done so much for this community that they should have brought him back for 50. They should have brought him back in some capacity at some point. Obviously, he was there for All Stars, but like I'm saying, since All Stars, that they should have brought him back because of the success of the podcast. That I feel like Big Brother would have 100% leaned into that at some point, right? Like Big Brother 22, All Stars 2. I think Rob C, if he would have been on Big Brother 3, would have been brought back. But yeah, it's such a metaverse. like reality TV is such a metaverse. It's very comparable to like Marvel's metaverse, where it's like there's so many alternate timelines of what could have been and what did happen, or what eventually happened because this happened. Like there's so much of that. And Rob C on Big Brother 3, I mean, I don't know if he wins, but do we see him working with Daniel Reyes? Like, do we see him working that side? I don't know. It would have been very interesting. I love that comment, Mary. Thank you. What if Caitlin Herman won the simple puzzle on Big Brother 20 and re-enters the house? I think no matter what, it would have been almost a revolving door for her, right? Like, at the end of the day, do we see Caitlin Herman winning Big Brother 20? Absolutely not. She wasn't on the side with the numbers. But my God, would I have been here for it? She at least brought entertainment, and her ultimate entertainment was her downfall in not being able to complete the puzzle that I was there in the crowd for, watching live in the crowd and seeing the producers lose their minds that she wasn't able to figure it out. And I swear to God, like it was some of the most riveting television I've ever been able to witness live, because like everyone in the audience was just at the edge of their seat, like, oh my gosh, she's not going to figure this out. She's not going to figure this out. Like the you could just see the panic on people in production's faces in that live audience. Like, just like, this is not happening. This is not happening. Just to see Grodner's reaction after, when I was walking out after the episode, Grodner was out there like talking to people, and I visibly, because I recognized her, I visibly heard her mumble to somebody, how the fuck did that happen? Because they were so sure. They were so sure that whoever had that challenge was going to come back no matter what. And they literally told us before the competition began, oh, you guys will see, the crowd warmer guy was like, you guys will see someone come back tonight, because we did this competition multiple times. It's a simple one. That person's definitely going to be able to figure it out. They're definitely going to be seeing someone return, because that's what they wanted. They wanted that person to return. They wanted them to come back into the house. And it just didn't happen because she couldn't do a puzzle. It was so good. What if Zombie Week, they just canceled week 1 eviction on Big Brother 25? So you're saying instead, if no Zombie Week, they just canceled the week 1 eviction? I mean, Zombie Week sucked. So at the end of the day, it didn't. I would have taken anything over Zombie Week. Zombie Week was such a bust. But yeah, at some point they had to do something, right? Well, just do another double eviction. Just doing 2 double evictions or something to that extent instead. What if the cookout doesn't make the final 6? What if they were the first 6 gone from the season? Well, obviously, if they were the first 6 gone, then there was something completely wrong with that season. But yeah, if the cookout doesn't exist, like, it was such a huge moment for like cultural diversity. It was such an awesome thing to see, like the fact that they were able to use that common bond, and that they were able to use that to get them to bond completely together and do it for a cause that they really wanted to see follow through. I mean, that absolutely made for, well, one, it made for not so much dynamic gameplay, because they were all very strong and working together, and they, like, no one was going to break that apart, right? They had all the momentum because of their racial bond, the racial ties, and they were wanting to see someone of color win the game. So it was one of probably the strongest alliance we've ever seen for that many people, because they had such a common bond and such a common goal that they were never going to go against that. But if we don't have that, that whole season is a completely different way. That whole season is, I couldn't even tell you where that season would go if we didn't have that bond. Guys, if you guys are new here, get your comments read live. I know I'm behind on comments, but I will catch up as fast as I can. Also, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Everything you guys do helps us out here at After Show on YouTube, twitch.tv/Bobby Goodsby. And you can also find me on my social media handles at Goodsby Bobby on Twitter/X and Instagram. Appreciate you guys. Just hit that like button. Hit it for me right now. Just takes one click and it helps us out. Thank you guys. If Rob C was on Big Brother 3, he would either be in a trio with Danny or Jason, or a Danny and Jason victim, no in between. Well, we saw the guy that ended up taking Rob's spot for Big Brother 3 go out in that same spot. And honestly, Rob was like almost, if you Rob on Amazon, obviously better strategic player, but like character-wise, very similar to the guy that obviously replaced him. And I'm blanking on the guy's name, but yeah, like it's very interesting. I do think he would have seen the writing on the wall with Danny and Jason and been able to work with them. But yeah, you're right. He's either the victim to them or he's working with them. What's up, IMTM Adamsville? What's going on? We don't know what the backstage comp would have been. That's just speculation. It completely is, because like we don't know what would have happened completely there, but it is an interesting part of the twist of that week one that I totally forgot about. Even if Paloma stays in the house, or the house was already losing trust in her, Monty, Kyle, Turner, Joseph had already identified the girls as a threat, and the leftovers is still created. Paloma isn't a good player. Don't disagree with you. I don't think Paloma was a very good player. I think she played really hard, really fast, and like obviously had that breakdown that caused her to leave the house. So who knows? Like it is speculative, but I forgot about the backstage thing and that it completely could have caused Taylor to stay that first week. It's a snooze fest. Yeah, well, it's like that's the thing, is like I didn't watch it, so I don't know. Keanu winning Big Brother 27 would have been a disgrace to the social strategic aspect of the game. He is the definition of an oaf. He literally played the game in his own delusions. Not false. Not false. But I'm saying if he would have not lost that competition to Vince, that HOH in the final 5, I still think it's a different game. I think Keanu could have gone on an absolute tear going forward. But then let's say Morgan does win the veto, which we know she does that week, the tiny veto. So if she wins that and takes herself off the block, do we see a Vinny going there? Do we see an Ava going there? Do we see an Ashley going there? It would have changed the game completely. That one competition would have changed the game completely. Oh, they named a whole alliance after Paloma when she left. That's true. I forgot about that too. That's true. It is true. Also, in any scenario, Big Brother 27, in which you have Ashley at the end, i.e. Ash, Keanu, Vince, we have proof that she can win both part 2 and part 3 and cut the bigger threat and take Vince to beat him. Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, I still think Ashley would have been towards the end game, and we saw how much she dominated in that final 3 HOH part. But do we get the Vince collapse at the part 2 HOH? Is Vince even there to collapse? And Keanu, yes, I know he had his delusions, but it would have been interesting to see it play out in the multiverse. Randy, but catalyst. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Catalyst. I don't know why that was escaping my head. Like when I was trying to talk, and I was like, wait a second, that is not the right word. What is the word I'm looking for? So thank you. Catalyst. 100%. That's what I was looking for. Amy, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you again. Been a minute. I'm glad you're back here. Hope you're doing well. Wait, are Paul and Natalie a couple? I have no idea. That is not my cup of tea. I would not know. I'm not up on the relationships of it all. If Lauren doesn't use her veto to save Vince, Morgan is evicted that week, and Riley goes on to win the game due to no merit of his own. No, I still don't think Riley wins the game. I still don't. Riley would have got knocked out at some point. But Vince would have gone there, which would have been crazy. Okay, so she used the veto on Vince. You're saying Morgan is evicted that week. I still think Vince could have gone home that week. I do. I think Vince could have gone home that week. We don't know. We'll never know. What if Josh Martinez and Casey was not disqualified on All-Stars 2? I don't even remember that. They were disqualified. Are you talking about the challenge, or were they supposed to be on All-Stars 2? I don't even know. I don't remember how they were disqualified. Evil Dick would have eaten Rachel's lunch. I mean, we'll never know, man. It sucks. Like, these are such great what if moments you guys are giving me. Like, all of these are fantastic because Evil Dick versus Rachel, like in a just back and forth yelling match, would have been TV gold. It would have been TV gold. Like, Evil Dick with the pots and pans in Rachel's face and stuff. Like, I love Rachel, but that would have been so much fun. I mean, here's at the end of the day, right? Rachel doesn't win a lot of those battles when she decides to just fly off the handle and start going after someone. We saw in Big Brother 27 where a lot of times it backfired in her face. Like I go back to the Catherine of all. Sit down, Catherine. I am sat. It's so good. So imagine that versus Evil Dick. Like, yes, Evil Dick would have eaten her lunch, but like it would have been so fun to watch. What if Vanessa didn't survive the backdoor by Becky? I think one of Jackie, Meg, Austin, or Liz go on to win the game. Ooh, that is so interesting. If she didn't survive the backdoor by Becky, I think Steve or Johnny Mac still pull it out. Like, I still think it's tough because that Vanessa was the catalyst. Thank you, Brandy Boo, for Steve like being a part of the game as far into it as he did. And that other, that's so tough. Such a good topic to bring up because I think at the end of the day, Jackie definitely would have survived more. I don't know about Austin and Liz. I think someone would have targeted that duo at some point, especially with Vanessa not there to really keep them safe. I think Johnny Mac could have been another person that could have gone further to win. It's tough. It's a tough one. What if Ika hadn't won the competition to shred the letters? That moment is what led to her being asked back for Big Brother Canada 5. Without it, the season would have been completely different, and there wouldn't have been the Ika-Dimitri relationship. Wow. What a metaverse that is, huh? It is so true. Fresh Show, that's a great one to bring up because the letters on Big Brother 2, it was just chef's kiss, right? Like, it was such a fun moment. Ika was already going, right? Like, she already didn't have the numbers on her side, but it was such a great way to be like a big FU moment to the house that like cemented her like definitely leaving early. But that's 1,000% why she got back for BB Can 5. And BB Can 5 is not nearly the season it was without her. She was BB5. Like her, if we didn't have her on Big Brother Canada 5, do we have the same winner? Do we have the same outcome? Do we have Ika and Dimitri ever finding each other and falling in love? Like, it's so wild. Wait, Caitlin Hartman on Tar also forced Rockstar and Brett together, the pals this season, to Mallow. Oh, if you're saying if Caitlin was on Tar or Rockstar and Brett together, that would have been fun. That would have been fun. I mean, I don't know what their relationship all these years later would be. I don't know where they're at now. Do they still hate each other? I have no idea. You guys probably know more than I do. But wait, so Caitlin Herman on Tar with the puzzle? Her partner's the puzzle of herself? So good. I know it's ridiculous, but it's so funny. Austin wrestles under the name of Luchasaurus and recently changed it to Killswitch. He unfortunately to a long period time off because of pneumonia. I believe that almost took away his career and life. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah, I saw him with like the mask and stuff. I was like, whoa, I can't believe this is the same guy. What if Faute was in some form even competent? If they had any cohesion of an alliance, they could have snuffed out level 6 before the jury phase with their comp wins. It's true. They just had they had a Keanu sense of the game. Did they not? Was Faute, which is still one of the worst alliance names of all time, Faute. It's so bad. But Faute, absolutely. Like they were Keanu in alliance form. They were such a mess. And yeah, level 6 just completely dominated them because they actually had strategic mindset and they actually had strategic gameplay and they were able to like sniff out the other side of the house, which Faute just was not aware enough for that situation. But that's what makes like Big Brother 20, in my opinion, a really good season is like you did have these factions in the house, right? You had the Faute Alliance, you had the level 6 alliance, similar to, Big Brother 6, where you had the friendship and you had the other alliance. Like you kind of need these two sides to form instead of one side forming and the rest are just a bunch of loosely knit house guests and they just continue to get picked off. Like we saw in Big Brother 27, like we saw on, Big Brother 23, where like it's just one strong alliance completely dominates the house. I love the seasons that have two factions, two alliances, and they go against each other. And maybe even not knowing that each other is there, that makes it for even more fun. Make me a Rob Roy, Dr. Will, Arturitas every single time. You want one of my drinks? Come to my bar. I got you. Dr. Will is Thanos and Omarosa is Madam Hydra. They are 100% like the multiverse that is reality TV. 1,000% agree. What if the producers had a brain? What's up, Humane? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Yeah, that could be the biggest one. To be honest with you, that might be the biggest what if in reality television history. But it's like sometimes it's like I don't mind them trying things and seeing how it works out, but I hate when they lean into everything they do is right and we are always wrong. Right? Excuse me. Pardon me. So at the end of the day, like the producers, like the fact that Allison Grodner after the season said that like the Rachel hamster wheel of death was like a good play, like they were okay with it and that they thought that they did the right thing at the right time. Like they just don't lean into the fact that clearly they were wrong and that it was like a bad move by production. Like it's just so frustrating. But that's like, it's kind of also the reason why we're here, guys. Like it's kind of the reason we continue talking. It's why my live stream that next day that I did after we found out Rachel left was the biggest stream I've had yet, is because even though those moments we hate and we're so pissed off that it happens, we're still going to continue to watch the show. And it's one of the biggest things we talked about all season. So what does that do for producers? It lets them know that, hey, we're doing something right. People like this. They're talking about it. It's like that saying good press or bad press is better than no press, right? They'd rather have you talking about it, even if you hate it, than not talking about it at all. 1,000%. What if Julie Chen leaves Big Brother after her husband was ousted from CBS? Well, honestly, probably should have. Let's be real. I mean, at the end of the day, Chenbot's Chenbot. But, I mean, does that mean we have Jerry O'Connell as our host going forward? God, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. But yeah, I have thought that too. My thing is Keanu winning would be like Raven Walton winning Big Brother 19, a player who lived in their own delusions the whole game. That man in the game was an idiot at every turn. Listen, but he was such a lovable oaf. And here's the thing. Raven didn't constantly have her back against the wall and saved herself multiple times, time after time after time after time. Raven didn't have that situation. She was just brainwashed and kind of sitting in the background doing everything, like having a summer vacation. At least Keanu was playing the game and doing everything he can. Takes on Keanu deep dive. I haven't listened to it yet. I plan on listening to it soon. I know it dropped today, right? But still hoping I can get Keanu on the stream. How great would that be to get Keanu in here talking about his game and stuff? I mean, he just did the deep dive with Terran, so I doubt it's going to happen anytime soon, but supposed to get Ashley here soon. I'm waiting on Fairplay to give me the feedback on when that's happening, but at the end of the day, Keanu, I would absolutely love to have a sit down with, or Rachel even. B. Nickel says, what if Keanu listened to Rachel the entire game? Does Rachel actually want to work with him to the final two? I think not. He was in a win-out situation regardless of deciding to turn against Rachel, in my opinion. The problem is he way believed too much in Vinny, right? He believed way too much that Vinny was on his side throughout the season, where he's just never going to fully trust Rachel because Rachel has won before, and Rachel is someone that he sees as like someone he can't go to the end with, even though he tried to make that alliance and make it seem like that. But then he would say something and do something with Rachel and then completely turn his back on it. 100% that relationship didn't continue because of Keanu's own moves, right? Like Keanu was a detriment to himself when it came to being in an alliance with Rachel. I think Rachel, if for some reason Keanu in this alternate universe does listen to Rachel, does form that frenemies alliance and work with it as closely as he tried to work with the Vince alliance, I could see them both going very far, very, very far in this game. I really could have. And it just sucks that Keanu got in his own way with that. Riley had that the undying loyalty of Keanu, Kelly, Kat, and to an extent Lauren. Ava and Mickey were also blessed with him. They were bawling. Oh, obsessed. That's what you're trying to say. Obsessed with him. They were bawling, heaving, crying during his eviction. I do understand that Riley was in a situation where he did have a lot of people on his side, but at the end of the day, eventually Riley's going to be the target, right? Because he's probably going to win some competitions. He's probably going to have that threat on his back. And I don't see him winning the game. I just don't see it. I don't see it playing out that way. And maybe that's me being revisionist history because we know Riley outside the game now. But I don't know. I just don't see an outcome where Riley wins the game. Josh and Casey didn't pass COVID tests, so we got Keisha and Kevin. Honestly, I'm glad we got Keisha and Kevin. Even though it was kind of a mess, I didn't need to see Josh and Casey back, especially being two winners. I would have been way more for Keisha and Kevin coming back. So I'm glad it played out the way it did, but I mean, at the end of the day, Josh and Casey, who knows, maybe the gameplay would have been a little bit more evolved. Morgan was the only person from the other side of the house to win an HOH or a comp after Rachel. Riley would have steamrolled because they worshipped him. I don't know, man. For me, it's like eventually that target's going to be on your back. If you have so many people obsessed with you or so many people that love your gameplay, like eventually that threat's going to come to the forefront, right? Especially since it wasn't even near jury stage yet, where I think that people would have saw the Catherine and Riley dynamic of the two, being super close and him being obsessed with Catherine, that he's always going to choose Catherine over you, eventually would have played out and would have made a bigger target on his back. And he would have 100% continued that line, right? He would have continued the whole, I'm all for Catherine. Catherine is my way, my life, my everything. And it would have eventually played itself out to put a target on his back, no matter how people actually felt. Steve or Johnny, especially, Steve needed Vanessa. And I agree with that. I do agree with that. Since she vouched for him with Austin and the twins, and Vanessa had multiple comp wins to keep him safe. I don't disagree. I think if Vanessa goes out, 1,000%. It's a lot harder for Steve to get to the final two. But there's also a way of that house maybe going against the twins, going against Austin. And Johnny Mac was on the side of Steve. We saw that. Would Becky have eventually worked with Steve? I don't know. I do think it makes for a completely different game if Vanessa goes out early, which Vanessa going out early, thank God it didn't happen, because I think we wouldn't have Vanessa as high in the lore of what Vanessa is for a Big Brother player. But it is interesting to talk about because like it would have changed, in my opinion. I do think that it would have changed the winner. I want to think Steve would have pulled it out, but it would have been so much harder because Vanessa did do a lot of the backing of Steve to the others to convince them to keep him around. But Johnny Mac could have easily like fallen to the background and no one would have come after him with Steve gone. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that could have played out. What if Ollie didn't pull out when he was having relations with April? Oh, that was such wild times. Like, oh, just I remember watching that on the feeds, like being like, are they really doing what? Oh my God, they are. It was like, and you like go to another camera angle and it's like Keisha cooking. It was like, what is going on? What is going on right now? I mean, I don't know if she was actually cooking. I'm just making up a reference, but it would have been like, that's like a great turning point. Like someone just outside the room playing chess. Oh God. If Keanu actually tried to work with Rachel as she was trying to the whole season, he can get on in with Ashley, Will, Ava, since he literally had no one else. I mean, and that's the thing. And then that side wouldn't have had to rely on Morgan and Vince to go further, right? Like they wouldn't have had to try to build those bonds because they would have had one more number and would have had the numbers on that side of the house to continue to work without having to bring in a Morgan and a Vince. I still think Rachel tries to play that relationship with the Morgan because it did help her and was beneficial to her to keep the Morgan alliance or like working alliance going. But with Keanu being an extra number, maybe we see Morgan or Vince go out even earlier, because it really came down to if Keanu just would have trusted Rachel, shit, we might not have Rachel going home in the freaking hamster wheel of death. I don't know. It just sucks. Keanu, what the hell, man? Big Brother is fun and engaging in spite of production's best attempts. Somehow things still turn out well for the dedicated fan base. I mean, they don't always turn out well, right? Like there's a lot of times where like, oh, that twist or that, production move really ruined the season. And we came really close to that happening on Big Brother 27. But we also like, I feel like a great example of that is like Big Brother Canada 3, where all of a sudden they were able to like find an like almost like an immunity idol or something. I forgot what it was. There was some kind of twist at the end of Big Brother Canada 3, which basically saved the two ladies that were at the end, and Sarah and I forget the other lady's name, and forced them to like take out the other side. And I was just like, really? Like that's how this is going to end? That very much so for us. I didn't even finish Big Brother Canada 3 because I was so irritated by the end game production moves that they made. What if Ethan and Jenna didn't get eliminated on Tar 19? Mary, I'm not a big Tar fan, right? I really realistically only watch the seasons that have Survivor or Big Brother people in it. So if you're bringing in well, and I know Ethan and Jenna are Survivor, but like I honestly don't even know if I watched that season. They got eliminated in the wonky double elimination Amazing Race. Never do it again until Tar 36 in a better way. I don't know. Lance Bass takes over as Julie's host, Julie Chen hosting role. Oh, I don't think so. I don't think Lance Bass wants that. I 100% think it'll be Jerry O'Connell. 1,000%. That's who I think would have taken over. All right. Raven is league's better player than Keanu. She at least wasn't always on the outs. I don't know if I agree with you on that. I don't know if I agree with you on that. I get Keanu was way more on the outs than Raven. Like Raven definitely was more in the friendship alliance, but Raven didn't have to constantly save herself, didn't have her back against the wall, didn't become America's favorite player because of, the rootable underdog story. Raven was just always like, why is this person on our television screens? Like, this person's so delusional and so crazy that, like, how is this someone that got cast on reality television outside of just being a wonky character? How did she have a boyfriend in the house? Oh my God, Ashley's stream, can't wait. I'm working on it. We're supposed to Keanu. Fairplay said that he talked to her and she was down to come on, so just gotta figure out the details on when we can set that up. She said she needed a break from podcasting for a bit because she just did that long one with Taryn and like other interviews. So we will try to get that at some point though. Keanu deep dive, fast forward to 2.5 minutes, 2 hours, 30 minutes. Taryn goes woke and calls out Keanu for not listening to women on Big Brother 27. Oh, okay. Well, I'll listen to it and let you guys know. 2.5 hours. What? I'm sorry, but you couldn't pay me enough money in the world to sit there and interview someone for like 4 hours. Like, that's just so in depth and so ridiculous that it's like, I couldn't do it. I don't feel like I have the mental capacity to remember the details like Taryn does. Like, that's why he's a robot, right? Like, that is insane to be able to go 4 hours and remember every detail of the player's game, like, vividly. It's crazy. If Keanu believed the truth that Morgan and Rachel prevented Vince from targeting him in week 1 and allied with them, he would have had the numbers learned from Rachel, like Ashley and Morgan. Yeah, if he would have gotten the truth there, but he just didn't want to believe it. He absolutely just like was convinced that he was so brainwashed by Vinny in such a weird way that there's just nothing you could say to him. The women wanted to work with Keanu, but his oafness made him choose a side that loathed him and wanted him out throughout the whole game. You're not wrong. He picked the wrong side and he was just constantly on the outs because of it. And then when the other side tried to give him multiple chances back, he just ruined those chances every single time. Raven better than Keanu. LL. Raven was just cuddled up with Matt most of the season. She didn't do anything. 1,000% agree. 1,000% agree. About Riley, you overestimate the intelligence of Keanu, Kelly, Lauren. Those were other idiots in the game. Keanu was never cutting Riley. He truly believed they were besties. He said as much. I understand that, and I understand he had the numbers. I'm personally saying my opinion is at some point that target's going to grow. You're going to get to the jury phase. You're going to get to an eventual situation where people see Catherine and Riley as a tight duo and that needs to be exterminated. And who are you going to go after? The guy that's the most lovable in the house to the other house guests and has a better possibility of winning challenges and being a social threat? Like, yeah, you're going to eventually take that target out. There's no convincing me otherwise that target would have gotten too big for Riley had he continued to play that way. If Dan goes over Steven, does Dan become the corn star? If Dan goes over Steven, why am I not knowing this reference? Corn star? I have no idea what you're talking about there. Really don't. Liz had a good shot at winning Big Brother 17. She had 4 locked-in votes with 6 cents in the jury, and she had a good enough relationship with other players like Jackie, James, and Meg. Yeah, and also then you would also not have Vanessa completely looking like she's dragging or like allowing Liz to get to the end. Or like that, like I guess like that whole side, right? Like you don't see Vanessa, if she's gone, as like the forefront of that alliance. But I think 100% Liz was more of a target than her sister because she was playing a better game. But even then we saw her not be able to pull it out because people voted for Steve over Liz when she had the numbers in the alliance the whole way through, and Steve made the big move to get out Vanessa, which Liz I don't think would have ever done. The fun asking Tar questions is that I know you had not watched. Well, thank you for that, Mary. I think they are grooming Taylor Hill to eventually take over for Julie. It does feel that way, Sheila. It feels that way for sure. Like she does feel like she's going to have, she does feel like she's got all the makings of like the next potential host of Big Brother, which I'm not necessarily like against. Like I do think she's very good at like live impromptu, being a host or asking those questions. I think she can absolutely do it. But I do hate the fact that they like constantly like push Taylor in front of us, where it does like, can we get a little bit of a Taylor break? Is all I'm saying before it eventually happens. Brandy Boo, constantly having to save yourself and having your back against the wall doesn't equate to good gameplay. No, but it's more entertaining, in my opinion. I don't, guys, I don't disagree with the fact that Keanu was an oaf. I don't disagree, but there's something of that innate ability in us to root for the underdog, right? Raven was never an underdog. Raven was just coasting, riding the friendship alliance, and just constantly feeling like she's a member of this alliance until she was eventually backstabbed and taken out. And even then, she still didn't believe till the very end that like Paul was actually doing it to her, that Paul had a hand in any of it. And I understand Keanu was not a good game player. He got in his way a million times over. But there's something about rooting for that underdog that constantly has their back against the wall and is able to save themselves that is just so rootable. So yeah, I don't disagree. It's not good gameplay because he constantly had his back against the wall. But it was fun to watch because it's like, is this the time they finally get Keanu out? Nope, he saved himself again. Nope, he saved himself again. Like, it was rootable is what I would say. What if Christmas didn't break her leg? Paul chose the Paul and Christmas duo to take to the end because he saw them as weak. If Christmas was healthy, maybe he picks Matt and Raven, where I think he wins. Great point. I 1000% think he takes. It's tough. I do agree. I think he takes Raven and Matt. I think he looks at them as less of a threat when it comes to the jury. And I think that he saw the Christmas breaking her leg, that, okay, that's why I need to take these two to the end because they are the other pair. And am I going to win a challenge against someone with a broken leg and Josh? Or would I have a better chance against Matt, who's kind of more of a physical threat, and Raven, who is, you guys, you put her in the same category as Christmas with a broken leg. But I do think too, those were the two most brainwashed people under Paul. So his mindset, in my opinion, too, was the fact that if he gets rid of them and sends them to the jury house, they're going to always have his back, which they did for a long time and eventually didn't. Eventually they changed their mindset on that. But I do think that him having those two with him at the end gives him a better chance to win. And maybe Josh and Christmas still respect the move. I don't know. It's tough. That is tough because I can go over in my head a lot, and I'm constantly having a battle of like, what do I think would actually happen? If he chooses Matt and Raven over Josh and Christmas, and he chose Christmas and Josh because Christmas has a broken leg and Josh has kind of like been that loud, obnoxious guy in the house, and he thinks he has a good chance to win, or does he take Raven and Matt, who haven't played the game really at all, but are more physical threats to him potentially getting there? It's a good question. And they were loyal to him. So I can see why he would think that would be the better move. I would rather Arissa Cox. 1,000%. Guys, 1,000%. If we could have it, Arissa Cox for the eventual host of Big Brother once Julie does leave. It's 1,000% what I want. But it'll never happen. Like, Big Brother will never lean into the fact that Big Brother Canada ever existed, right? I don't think that'll ever happen. Sorry, 1 second. Wife texts me. Her computers went down at work. Okay. So I have to go pick up the kiddo, which I already knew. All right. So let's try to bust out some more of these because we are getting towards the end and I have a lot on here. All right. It is true Keanu legitimately never took what the woman of the house told him and instead blindly listened to the men that loathed him and were lying to him the whole time. Agreed. I agree with you. He 100% took the men's side, 1,000%. I don't think it was completely misogynistic. I think he has tendencies that he needs to work on, but I don't look at it as like misogynistic behavior that he did intentionally as like a how do I word this correctly where I come across in the right way that I don't think he did it maliciously. I think he just doesn't understand that he has these that he has these incoherent, that's probably the wrong word, biases that he doesn't understand he has, and I hope he works on it because I do think he needs to change that. What if Victor doesn't win battle back into Big Brother 18 like 3 different times? That was a shield for both Paul and Nicole. Despite them being at odds, it forced the other newbies to focus on Paul and Victor. Yeah, I mean, it really was a shield for Nicole. Like, realistically, like, everyone knew they had to go after Victor. Like, as soon as Victor came back, like, that was the person we got to take out because he's just too much of a threat. He, like, won multiple times and saved himself. So that was a shield for a lot of them. I don't even think just Paul and Nicole, but I think Nicole in particular, that 100%. What if the final 2 was Frankie and Caleb on Big Brother 16? How would the jury vote? Realistically, I think they vote Frankie to win. I think, they're very similar, right? I still think they vote Frankie to win. I don't know. That's a weird one. What if Dan doesn't evict Jody on night 1, Big Brother 14? I think that was a game-losing mistake. I don't know if that was a game-losing mistake. It was too early on to know. We don't know what kind of player Jody would have been. But imagine if he got rid of Danielle instead of Jody. I mean, then 100% you could say that would have been a massive, massive mistake for his game that he obviously wouldn't have realized at the time. But, like, losing Danielle, who basically saved him multiple times and allowed him to get to the end, essentially, like, that would have been way different of a season. They didn't lose him the game, that didn't lose him the game, especially since W. Sure. Yeah, like, I'm trying to think. Are you talking about the whole Dan thing? I don't remember. Jody would have advocated for Dan in the jury. She should have targeted a more physical player like Frank instead of a middle-aged woman who couldn't comp out. That was dumb. Well, that's not what happened. He could only pick the people that were on his team, right? So he couldn't have picked a Frank to go home. He had to pick amongst the 3 ladies that were on his team that lost that challenge. So it was going to be Jody, Danielle, or the other chick, I'm forgetting her name. But it would have been between those 3. So he couldn't have picked Frank. So that's the thing. It's like, we don't know where Jody would have liked us. It was night 1. It was night 1 when we know nothing about the game at that part. Like, we have no idea how Jody would have played. We have no idea the dynamics she would have had with Dan. It was night 1. So, and that's the only 3 targets he had. He obviously did it because he took out the older woman on his team opposed to one of the 2 younger women that potentially could win stuff. Like, that was kind of obvious, the writing on the wall there. Still one of the worst things production's ever done. Underdogs in Big Brother are more rootable when they can maneuver by social strategy. The true underdog of Big Brother 27 was Ashley. She was almost targeted many times, but was able to evade the shot. Yeah, she was the underdog, but she was the underdog in a way that like she was the underdog in the fact that she was targeted early, but was able to socially strategize herself into a good position because she is a much better game player than Keanu ever was. Like, much, much better. But the whole Keanu underdog is because he had his back against the wall multiple times, right? So, like, there's a difference in underdog where, yes, you might initially be an underdog, but you work yourself out of that position by social strategy. I'm talking about constantly having the target on your back and continuously having to save yourself in a challenge to bring yourself back. I know it's not like great gameplay. I get that. But there's that incoherent ability in us to root for that kind of underdog because it's something visible on our TV screen, which the Ashley underdog edit wasn't there on our TV screen. It wasn't something we saw unless we saw it on the live feeds. But even then, it was only underdog really from the beginning, like at the very beginning, and then it kind of fizzled out because she didn't have to play that underdog strategy, and then kind of took back towards the end of the game. Dan and Steven, week 2, season 10. Steven became a porn star. Did you even watch? Did you even know every single house guest and amount of votes each one got? Fake fan. Fake fan for sure, right? Sorry, I forgot. I forgot about Dan and Steven. Sorry. Basing all that from a contestant that was there one day. Exactly. Ashley and her side got Lauren to target Adrian instead of her week 3. Week 8, Keanu wants her out over Vince and even Mickey, but she had the votes, especially the swing vote in Ava. Yeah, I get that. Like early on, she definitely had to use. How do I word this correctly? So she had the side of the house that got Lauren to target Adrian instead of week 3, but that wasn't just her. Like that was other people in her alliance that were making the same move. It wasn't just her. And that's what it comes back to. It was like Keanu was always by himself. So that's why you have that rootable underdog, because it's someone that literally the whole house is against him. Taryn would never, Bobby would never not know the reference. Damn it, Mary. You're so right. You're so right. I stopped rooting for underdogs after Pate. Ashley also was the consensus target if Keanu won BBB during Lauren's second HOH, but she flipped the house the vote against Will, especially getting Keanu's vote, who hated her and loved Will. She did a lot of great social strategy. She was the deserving winner of Big Brother 27. I'm not disagreeing with you on that fact. Ashley was a true underdog. Keanu was a cockroach without its head, dodging eviction with no social strategy ability. I get it. You don't like Keanu, and I liked Keanu more than you, and that's fair. And I get it, and I respect Ashley. I think Ashley was great. I'm just saying. Subconscious bias. Brandy, thank you so much for coming in here and knowing exactly what I'm trying to say and just can't get the words out because my brain's not articulating it. So thank you so much. Like all stream, you've been able to save me with what I'm trying to say, but can't think of the words. So I said unconscious bias, didn't I? Subconscious bias. Thank you. Brandy, I need you to be like my official what Bobby was trying to say person. Because God knows my brain sometimes turns off when I'm trying to talk and think at the same time. Ask my wife. My wife's like, yeah, you can't do two things at once. Like if I'm watching TV or I'm watching something on Instagram, like an Instagram reel or something, and she's trying to ask me a question, maybe it's because I'm a dude and dudes are terrible listeners, but I'll have to have her re-say it, which I know it's very aggravating for a lot of people, but I have to like turn around and be like, wait, what did you say? I'm sorry. And she'll be like, you cannot do two things at once. She could be reading a book and watching a show at the same time and be completely fine and be knowing exactly what's going on in both. There's no shot in hell I could ever do that. If I'm reading a book, I'm reading a book. If I'm watching TV, I'm watching TV. If I'm having a conversation, I'm having a conversation. There's no overlay where those three things or two things out of the three could ever work. I'm kind of joking about Jody advocating for Dan. A joke on Twitter. That's why Dan lost. Okay, good thing you were joking because I thought you were serious too. I was like, what are we talking about here? Jody wins the game if she wasn't evicted and gets the votes. Dan messed up. Yeah, 100%. Jody wins the game if she doesn't go out first. Tyler lost Big Brother 20 because he was an asshole to Bailey and was allegedly why she miscarried her baby because of their heated fight. Also telling Bay that he doesn't need her vote to win and him losing. It's not false. He definitely did not play well with like jury management in those ways. Played a great game, but jury management, not so much. I'm sick of Big Brother 27 talk. You and me both. I didn't call Taryn woke. Taryn called himself woke. Okay, good to know. Good to know. What if Bobby and Taryn got into a slap fight? I don't want that heat. I don't want to physically fight anyone. Like that's not me. That's not me as a person. I will get in an argument with you over things or like disagree with you, but I'm never gonna get in a slap fight with anyone. My chair is falling apart. Oh well. What if Big Brother 16 player had an active brain? Now we're getting into the true what ifs, right? I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, there's a lot of seasons you can say that about, though, too. Like, there's a lot. After 3 hours listening to Canada, I'm good with that season. Ashley wants always the target. I mean, Keanu, Kelly, they were targeted way more. Thank you. Like, that's a great point. That's another reason why I think like Keanu was always on the block. Keanu was always target numero uno for a lot of people. Ashley was never the target outside of week 1. She didn't have to worry about that as much until, when her and Will went up against each other. But like, they were always going to take out Will over Ashley because they didn't think Ashley had a chance of winning. So yeah. Bobby, why didn't you attend TwitchCon in San Diego? Honestly, I didn't know what was going on. And 2, like I heard like TwitchCon, there's like a lot of drama going on with how Twitch handled that event. If you haven't seen that, look at the Imaru situation on YouTube. But I mean, if I would have gone, I would have just gone as like a person attending. I'm a nobody on Twitch. Let's be real. I'm a nobody on YouTube too. So I'm just a guy that talks about a very niche subject, kind of like halfway enjoyable to his audience. Like at the end of the day, like I'm consistently pulling in 20 people on my live stream, anywhere from 10 to 20 people. At one point we had 100. I need another Rachel's hamster wheel of death for my numbers to go back up and then hopefully keep people around. But at the end of the day, like I'm just such a niche topic and such a little streamer that hopefully one day we get to those numbers where I can attend TwitchCon as an actual attendee. Are you enjoying Tar 37? It's whatever. It's kind of whatever. Like, it's very meh, in my opinion. But, I mean, I'm happy it's on my television screen. I'm happy it's Big Brother players. But, like, I don't know. There's really not even a single team that I'm rooting for, right? It's like, I'm kind of just, like, seeing how it plays out without having any rooting interest. What if the cookout didn't exist? I see Tiffany winning that season. Even if the cookout didn't exist, I still think Tiffany would have gone on and like done great things. I think she would have kept her numbers. I think she had other numbers that she could have held on to even longer. We know that for a fact. But yeah, 1,000%. I think Tiffany wins that season without the cookout there. Ashley was almost never the target. Ask Keanu and Kelly how it felt being targeted. I agree with you. One, even though Jason and others might not agree with us, I do agree with you on that one. What if Matt Hoffman didn't use Diamond POV to target Kathy like an idiot? We still get the same outcome. Like realistically, that 4-man alliance was just too strong. They still would have got there. It just painted a bigger target on Matt Hoffman's back. But I think also Matt like was there to play the game and play it dramatically too, that I think that was never going to not happen with Matt. If Matt snipes out one of the brigade, he is in the middle of the game with Brendan, Brittany, Kathy on one side and the brigade on the other. I mean, at that point, the brigades broke up, right? Then it's just a duo. It's not even a brigade anymore. It's just a duo if he snipes one of the brigade members. But which brigade member does he go after? Obviously, he should go after Hayden, but does he go after an Enzo? Enzo could do a lot of damage by his social abilities. I don't think he targets Elaine there, but like, I just don't think he was just through and through always going to be with that alliance no matter what. I disagree. Tiffany seemed too bossy. I think her faith would be the same as on the challenge. I feel like she is one player who benefit out of the cookout the most. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. The benefit definitely, the cookout definitely benefited her, but I think that she was really good with her social ability, especially with the people that were on the outs of the cookout alliance or not aware that the cookout was a thing. I think she would have had the numbers on her side, even if the cookout were to have broken up or not actually existed. Tiffany run the pre-jury phase of Big Brother 23. She had connections with mostly everyone other than Big D. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she had so many connections. She had such a good gameplay pre-jury where we all saw her as dominating that house, that I think that if the cookout wasn't an alliance that formed, I do think she would have gotten very far. And I think she had stronger ties with people that were on the outside of the cookout. And I think that the reason, obviously, we know why she went with the cookout, but I think it was more detrimental to her game with where she was at with the people in the house that weren't in the cookout. That would have been way more beneficial for her long-term game than the actual cookout did, but she couldn't go against the cookout because of her moral beliefs. That's what I feel like. The cookout was a detriment to Tiffany. Exactly. That's what I was saying. She, since she had to take out her own numbers in DX, Claire, and Christian. Yep. Like, that's it right there. Like, she would have had those numbers through and through to the end. All right. So I think we've gone through a lot of what ifs. I think this was a fun one. I think that this opened up a lot of conversation. Thank you, Brandy Boo, for helping figure out all the words I was trying to come out of my mouth. So thank you for that. Jason, thanks for always a good back and forth. Juan, Mary, Fresh Show. Who else was in here that I'm forgetting? Sheila, shout out to you. Where you B Nickel, Humane, Arteritas. Thank you guys. You guys are, let's see here. Amy, good to see you again, my friend. Hope you guys are all doing well. And I appreciate you guys for being part of the chat. I appreciate you guys going over all the Big Brother what ifs, because I think there's still a million other what ifs we could have got into, but that 2 hours kind of flew by. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing the Survivor what ifs. So we will be talking all about Survivor what if moments in the history of the show. So if that is something that interests you, definitely check out my stream tomorrow. I go live 12 noon Pacific to 2 p.m. Pacific right here at After Show on YouTube. And then twitch.tv/Bobby Goodsby. If you want to follow me on Twitch, I appreciate you. That helps me out a lot. That's my personal stream, not associated with After Show. So any follows I get there greatly benefit and help me out with my growing the brand through Twitch. And then at Goodsby Bobby on X/Twitter and Instagram. If you want to hit me up on social media, if you have anything you want to reach out to me about, message me about, thoughts, ideas for the channel, what have you. I appreciate any feedback. If you can, leave a comment below. Any comments in the chat, I read them all after the fact on YouTube. If you guys can leave a YouTube comment below the video, it really helps out with the algorithm, helps me out, lets me know you guys are engaged. Hit that like button. That also helps out with the algorithm. Hit the bell notification so you're notified when I go live. I always post on social media when I'm about to go live. 12 noon Pacific, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and tomorrow will be the Survivor What If show. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm just going to read the last couple things you guys said. Traders would be the real test for Tiffany and Rob C. Let's see if their good season is not the outliers. I'm very interested to see how those two play on that. What's your favorite what ifs? I mean, the Dan's funeral, Dan on Big Brother 10. Those are always big what ifs. Cody and Derek is one of my big what ifs. I really like some of the ones you guys brought up about like Evil Dick on Big Brother 13. It's very interesting. I think that, you know, the Marcellus of it all, of Marcellus playing that veto or not, very interesting. So, and I appreciate a lot of the ones you guys brought that I wouldn't have even thought about. Eric didn't get suckered by the Black Widow Alliance. I mean, there's so many. I can't wait to talk about the Survivor ones because I feel like there's even more Survivor what ifs when we get to that tomorrow. So with that being said, I'm going to head out of here. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you tomorrow, 12 noon Pacific to 2 p.m. Pacific. Get your Survivor what ifs thoughts going. We will go over that tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Bye.